Hey, what's up guys? It's day 105 on our journey to create a $1 million software company. This week I was building landing pages for target personas to try to find the best niche to target when we get this thing rolling. I'm thinking of skipping the ad campaign strategy that I talked about last week and moving straight to prepping a product hunt launch. This week's a great example of how when you're unsure what to do, taking one step as an educated guess can easily lead to clarity around the next set of things to do. Let's dig into it. Okay, so first of all, finding a niche, that's really where it's at. We need to have a specific customer in mind if we expect this to succeed. Snaptro is a platform app, so coming up with a niche to target is a little hard at first. I've been working on this for a while, researching keywords, finding conversations and joining them on Twitter, reaching out to my network. Ultimately, I think I need to take a stab at a couple personas and see how they shake out. So last week, I talked about how I was gonna run a low budget ad campaign on some long tail keywords to see what niches might have the best traction. That was kind of my go-to idea for figuring out what niche to target. And after talking with some friends and people in my network, I'm just feeling like it's probably going to be a fruitless effort at this point, and I could probably better spend my money since the budget is tight in another way. I'm gonna put that off, but going down that route totally opened my eyes to some insights. First thing I had to do was build some landing pages to target the personas that I'm using for these keyword campaigns. My specific potential customer just suddenly came into light when I did that. So I was forced to find the exact value proposition I'm making with each of these groups. The first target persona that I went after is sales reps. My value proposition here is basically saying that no-shows are a huge waste of time and energy for sales reps. If you're doing demos or you're doing any kind of sales call that you've set up and somebody stands you up, that's kind of the worst outcome. How do you reduce that? Creating a personal, emotional connection with that prospect from the get-go. That could be a really good way to show authenticity, show them you're a real person that you don't want to let down, help reduce those no-shows. So that's the target I'm going after here. And I've got my sample profile here. I've got a couple, the main target points that I'm looking at. And then really, I want to get into the head of the sales rep. And this is an email I think that you could send to set up a demo with somebody. So we're basically saying, hi, I'm excited to present this demo that we've scheduled. Here's a video introduction of myself and some links to resources you might find useful. In the meantime, show what that actually looks like. So seeing this friendly face, seeing why is this platform good for you, here's a case study, here's some statistics, here's a getting started guide, and here's a way to book a meeting with me. So really just giving that prospect, all this information right out of the gate and feeling like this is a really nice professional way to do this. That immediately led me to thinking, sales reps are really gonna wanna know how this is working. So I have this statistic feature where we're going to do like interaction tracking. How many views did I get? How many plays did I get? How many clicks? Which links got clicks? And being able to see that over time, see how it's working to create what I'm saying here is like a conversion machine. The other really interesting feature I think would be great for sales reps is being able to tag these links so you can precisely track who clicked them. So if you want to make a link specific to a certain prospect or a group of prospects or a sales strategy, you can do that and actually see how the strategy worked. And I don't think I need to build this yet. I've got this coming soon label here. I think I just need to set the stage for this because it's a really powerful value that I know I can build. So let's just say it's coming soon and see if this is the niche that's worth doubling down on. And then as we keep going, I've got the same kind of standard stuff I have on the homepage, but I've tweaked it specifically for this role. So everything you need, nothing you don't, that's from the homepage. We focus hard to ensure you make an unbeatable impression on your prospects. So getting into the language of sales dev reps and then putting your links to work, giving them specific concrete examples of how they can make their link work for them. And then when I was designing these, I thought, we also need a social card that matches that. So for sales dev reps, I have stop no-shows with your own video intro page. This is something that gets shown when you tweet it or you put it on Facebook. This is the image that goes along with it. And then the other thing I did was in Google or DuckDuckGo, you can do a search for, I just chose Mailshake because it used to be my company, and you can inspect these links. And I was working out a title. So I started with something like Snaptro for sales, and it just doesn't look that impressive. And eventually, as I kind of iterated on this, this is what I came up with, which is reduce no-shows. It's a video platform for sales reps and have Snaptro be in the name here. And then the same thing with the description, kind of working on how that's supposed to look. We can come in here and edit this and We can see I've got no shows are a huge waste of time and money or time and energy. With a video introduction page, you can create an emotional connection with your prospects from the get-go. Fill your page with links to everything they need. And again, this act is really important for the actual SEO content and just people understanding what they're getting, but it also is a good exercise for me getting into the skin of my customers. It was really, really helpful to go through all this. The next one I chose was job seekers. I just feel like cover letters are like awful, but they're also a personal touch, and maybe a video cover letter kind of is the best of both. It's a personal touch, it's easy to use, and it also really makes you stand out. My big value propositions here are that cover letters suck, but they also help you. So can you even go higher than that and do something that's going to give you an edge over other candidates? And so this is somebody who writes an email to apply for a job. I think this is a great email, actually. It's like, I have 6 years experience, would absolutely love to chat about how I think I can make a huge impact on your team. I've put together a video introduction of myself with some links to my resume, portfolio, and a few other goodies, and kind of hint that in this case, I have her as a product designer who's actually got a link of designs that she did for this specific company. So creating a page for every company you apply for is super personal, and I just think looks really professional. So that led me to kind of the sign up for job seekers is a little bit different. Your best bet is to make one for every single company. So I have a little bit of a script here and help about how this is going to go down, and I figured out that I really am going to need to make a YouTube video to play right here to walk them through what that process is going to be like, to sell them on the concept and how easy it actually is. The stats are still really interesting for job seekers. Like knowing if somebody clicked on your resume or like watched your video is huge insight into what you're normally just throwing your resume into the void. But those stats that I had for the sales reps is just a little bit too much for somebody who's just looking, to apply for jobs. So I simplified this whole view to make it just a lot more simplistic. The actual functionality is probably going to be the same, but I think in terms of like selling it to people, they need to see this in a simplistic way. And then I wanted to go a little bit out of the box for the last persona that I targeted. I was just thinking about Airbnb hosts and how they're always trying to make a good impression, stand out against other hosts, and the biggest thing for them is to get repeat bookings, either getting bookings from the same people or getting that 5-star review that helps them get the next booking. Because I think when you rent a place on Airbnb, which I kind of do a lot, so I have a lot of experience with this, you really want to see a friendly person. You really want to see somebody who responds like, yeah, I'm really excited that you're staying, instead of one-word answers like, you ask, hey, my family's staying, can we get out early check-in? Yes. Like you need something personal. And I think this is a really interesting one to me. It's all about getting more 5-star reviews, getting your place booked again. And so this is the message that they would send to their person who booked them and saying, thanks for booking the trip. I put this video introduction to say hello. And then, seeing that guest click this, Airbnb doesn't allow links and descriptions, so you can't really do it in the actual listing for your place. But I feel like it's a really good way to somebody who's already hooked to make that personal connection. And you can even put it in the QR code inside the Airbnb or however you wanted to do it. And again, I kind of tweaked the stats section for them because, again, I think they need the stats, but not quite so much as a sales rep. So showing a simplified, look at that. And then again, the language going straight to this exact persona. Put your links to work, include your link in your arrival materials, add it to your Airbnb guidebook, create a thank you video maybe for guests who leave positive reviews, kind of like a little bonus you could add. And once I did all that, I realized I had a really nice new resource for the homepage, which is, this is a more general look at the app. It's more platform centric, but we really need to target the personas. So why not list out a whole bunch of ideas for people? So like, food trucks, bookshops, restaurants, PTSA officers, like show these 3 specific personas that I've worked hard to craft a message around, but also hint at lots of different people could benefit from this platform. And I absolutely love this because I really think the homepage was missing that human connection and the why would I use this kind of thing. And so again, as the snowball kind of keeps going, that led me to, well, when somebody actually comes to those pages and they see the persona that matches them, what do they really need to get them to the next step? And I do think that it makes a lot of sense to make a quick demo of what you would actually do as a job seeker and explain that process. And that led me to a really cool feature, which is when somebody comes in and they do have their link, how can we get them to use it? How can we get them to be excited about it? And I think we need to show some, explore some ways to use your link. So basically saying, explore ways to use your link for sales reps. Here's an email to a prospect. And what are we doing? We're creating an emotional connection. And I've got this whole thing like templated out for you. You can click this button and then immediately drop that into your Gmail account, and just these are the actual links for your profile. So you're ready to basically just send this email. And then same thing for the email signature and also social media, like putting this in your profile for Twitter, for Instagram, and saying like, watch my introduction is kind of a fun arrow pointing, to your introduction. These are nice, easy ways for them to use their link, and they can flip between the different personas that I've created to get something specific for them. And finally, that led me to a couple more ideas, which is we need to get these people on an email drip campaign for their onboarding. So when they do sign up, they've got the YouTube video that explains how it works for their persona. They've got these specific ways to use their link for their persona, but then also in email every couple days, we need to be hitting them to say, this is how people make use of Snaptro for sales dev reps. I've updated my MailChimp under the audience here under groups. I've got Snaptro Signup Origin, which is a group I have that's going to take the origins that I've set up, the landing pages, so that I can push people into these segments, and then I can start sending them personalized emails. And then the other thing is I updated the types of emails segment or group that I've got. I've got new teammate beta testers for people who are signing up from the gate, but then also people in Snaptro who are wanting our news and updates. So I didn't have a way for them to do that, and now I've added this piece here, which is basically once they get signed in, they're exploring their account, maybe they're pretty happy with it, they get a chance to join it or just say no thanks and this thing pops away. So now I've got people on my list, growing that list so I can contact them, and I also have the onboarding set up for the people who are just getting started. And then the last thing, this is a bit of a non sequitur for this week, but I came across Fathom Analytics and Plausible Analytics, which are basically replacements for Google Analytics that's privacy focused. But it's not just that. Google Analytics has got so complicated and so hard to use over the years that it's almost become useless to me. And I love how simple this interface is, and it's going to make this a lot easier to track. I haven't installed this quite yet, but it's worth the 14 bucks a month that it'll cost me to run this on all sites. And it's got a nice additional bonus of not requiring any kind of cookie banner on the website for GDPR or for any other reason. So I love that. I love being privacy focused. I think it's a nice value commitment to make to users. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. So there you have it for the week. What started out as a keyword ad campaign concept really morphed and turned into a whole set of nice improvements on the site that makes me feel so much better about stepping into the shoes of my customer and giving me a much more focused shot at convincing people of using Snaptro. So next steps are finishing these sample uses. I'm very close on that. Building an email campaign that drips out for each of these personas. And I've got at least one pretty significant feature to build, which is just better link management. It definitely needs some love so that on Product Hunt, we can really come forward with our best foot. And then we've got terms and privacy to set up, maybe a couple other odds and ends, but we are definitely getting close to getting prepped for Product Hunt. Very excited about that. Probably gonna happen in the next maybe 2 weeks. That's my guess right now. Thanks for sticking around with me. I am excited that you are all joining me on this journey, and I will see you next week.